tinfoil hat. Oh, what the fuck are you guys even talking about?
Global controls will have to be imposed, and a world governing body will be created to enforce them.
Welcome to Tinfoil Hat. We go deep, homeboy. Aaron, open your mind. Drink from the fountain of knowledge. There's lizard people everywhere. That's some interdimensional shit. Wake up, Aaron.
This is only the beginning.
Dude, you just blew my mind.
Are you ready to get your mind blown?
Good morning, Swarm, and welcome to Tinfoil Hat. You know I am. You know I'm here to do. I'm here to rock. Join me as always, Xavier Guerrero, and on the ones, twos, Jay Nice, Juicy Johnny, Johnny Woodard, live from the Wise Wolf Gold and Silver Studios. Go to samtriple.gold to use the promo code TINFOIL and get precious metals sent to your house for as little as $50 a month. It's just that easy. We got a banger for you. We're getting into drones. We're getting into Trump. We're getting Cliff High. We're getting into all of it. And we got the guys, the boys from the Nephilim Death Squad. We got Raven and Top Lobsta. And from the wildly successful My Family Thinks I'm Crazy, Mystic Mark Steeves joins us now. And guys, go to samtriple.com. Grab your tickets to my Tinfoil Hat Comedy Night. Spokane is coming. Grab it now. Xavier Guerrero. Eddie Bravo, the list goes on and then you can see me in Batavia at the end of January, Columbus, Ohio, Poundstown. It goes on. And again, go to chaostwins.com or the Chaos Twins and grab your issue right now. Episode 2 is being made right now. Grab it right now. We love you very much. Enjoy this episode. All right, let's get into it. Very excited to have them back. Their podcast is blowing up. They're hot on the streets. The kids can't stop talking about them. You know them as love them. They're the Nephilim Death Squad guys. Welcome back again. Top Lobsta and David Corbo. How are you, buddy?
I feel like we only just saw you. Like how many days ago? You crushed at Side Splitters, by the way. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. I constantly question my comedy. And then, of course, joining us, he's the booker of the show, Mark Steeves, rapper. We're rapper wigger Mark Steeves, everybody.
My show is also blowing up. It's been
okay. Mark's show is hot on the streets.
It's
the special needs kids are talking about it. And it's called My Family Thinks I'm Crazy. Mark Steeves. I'm sure Dana will be getting a call at any moment. How are you guys? Everything good? What's up? Hope you guys are great. Johnny's birthday was yesterday. Congratulations.
Happy birthday, Johnny.
Happy birthday.
Another just a lap around the sun, or according to the flat earth situation, the sun just keeps going around and round and round every 24 hours. It's crazy times.
I'm not smart enough to know if that got debunked or not, so I have no opinion on that.
Oh, Johnny knows. Johnny's smart.
Johnny thinks he knows. Johnny thinks he knows.
I mean, they invited everybody was invited to go Flat Earth, and then two guys, one of whom I think is quite a reliable person, Austin Whitsitt, went down there and saw it. He did a live interview with Owen Benjamin. He watched the sun circle the sky for more than 24 hours, and there's video of it. Candace Owens sent a producer down there. They shot it.
But what does this mean, Johnny? Does this mean it's flat?
Okay, so now many flat earthers are going to come up with a new model. Some of them in preparation for this already came up with one. But think about it, if you thought the Earth was flat like this, surrounded by an ice wall called Antarctica, how could you have 24-hour sun at one point on that ice wall? Like, let's say this boundary. How could the sun just be circling over here? It's not possible on that model.
I'm with you. I'm with you. You know, I went and saw what Owen Benjamin's thoughts are on that. And I thought he brought up a really good point. And the point was that, yeah, man, this kind of debunks the model that they think. But I'm going to agree with something he said right after that. The globe has, in my humble opinion, has been destroyed as well. Yeah. And I've said this 1,000 times on the show that I don't know what it is. It's definitely not what they're telling us.
But you should.
I mean, with these long these long scopes that go way farther than they've ever gone before, and there's no curve, it would fall off. So that's my whole opinion.
Having Mark Gober on the show in January, and he wrote a book called An End to the Upside Down Cosmos, and he basically substantially backs up what you just said, Sam. Now, the same is
I don't
true
even
for
know what I
flat
just
Earth.
said. What did I just say? I mean, dead serious. Like I
To give you,
what did I
to
say?
give you a quick summary of what you just said, the globe Earth and the flat Earth model are equally retarded. Does that make sense to you?
Hashtag hot dog Earth.
So that's basically what
I think Hollow Earth is making a comeback. If you ask me, I think that's.
I mean, isn't that kind of a given? Like, there are large swaths of cavernous areas within the Earth. Does that constitute Hollow Earth? I don't know, but
I'll say this, David. I don't give a shit what shape the Earth is. What I think we need to be working towards is some kind of peace treaty between my two favorite comedians, Owen Benjamin and Sam Tripoli. Now that you're here, I'm saying it to your face.
Sam Tripoli
We gotta
is
stop it.
chill. You need
Okay.
it. It's just unbelievable that nobody understands that. I am
know.
chill. I've
I know,
never
I know.
been chill.
are you guys
You
friends
need to
now?
Go find somewhere where I shot fire. You know, where I came out of nowhere and just shot fire. It just doesn't exist. I'm a lover. I want people to thrive. That's why I have people like the Human Vibration on when she has 4 people on Twitter. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm chill.
We just
I'm
finished
not-
talking to her, by the way. She said hello. We literally
Yeah,
just
right.
ended with her, and then she said, "Tell Sam we said hi," or she said
We
hi.
love. Okay, that's where we would be the 1,000 voices in her head, but no, she's great. She's great.
crushed, dude.
She's
She
great.
crushed.
No,
She crushed.
she's great. That was a joke. She is great, and she does great work, and she goes very deep. And sometimes you go, that might be too deep for me too. So that's fine. And again, all are welcome. That's the point of that little thing. Is all are welcome. I want everyone to do well. I'm not really into what I was talking to Chad Zumach over the weekend. I don't know if you know the legendary Florida comedian Chad Zumach, or the Z-Man, they call him. He's into that, what I call content combat.
Yeah,
I don't like that.
not a fan.
That's just not my thing. I just put it out, shoot at the fucking lizards, and hope and pray. That's
Don't say what
literally.
you're really saying. You're saying that Owen Benjamin is into combat content or content.
I just want mom and dad to stop fighting. Can we do
That's
that?
all I'm saying. We're at the dinner table and it's bad.
I beg you, go look.
All I'm gonna say is they don't want to fight Sam. He's almost a blue belt. He's got Krav Maga. under him.
Maga, baby.
I would
I
would
fight
be scared of
anybody,
Sam.
dude. I'm 52. If you're
Got heavy
52 and
legs.
still want to fight people, you're a fucking retard, and not a dangerous retard, just a pure retard.
Got our dangerous retards. Sam,
That's
can we start getting into this? Because I feel like there's a lot of foreplay.
We're getting
talking
impatient.
about
There's a lot
Owen
of
Benjamin and
We're
Flat
trying to
Earth.
get into our show more than
Let's-
ever.
Let me take it away here, Todd.
Okay, here we go.
I know
Mark loves. Go
I
on,
saw
Mark.
your notes. I love what you guys have prepared. I think I'll just sort of put the cake on the table, and you guys could do the rest. So
Okay, Mark. There you go. Have a good time.
yeah. So essentially, being the only person on the podcast currently proximal to this situation, I haven't seen any drones myself, but that's because I'm not stupid enough to drive down to Jersey in December. The traffic is incredibly atrocious, so I just haven't driven down there. But from what I've gathered from Mike Romanelli, the drones are basically zeroed in on the dojo of comedy. Like, this is ground
Hilarious.
zero.
That's literally a marketing tool that Mike uses.
Right.
It's the best place to see the drones.
Sam, you messed up. You should have named it the mothership.
Yeah.
But what's great about Mike is, you know, he's talking to everybody who's in and out of the restaurant and the comedy club. So he's gathered a bunch of firsthand eyewitness accounts, even including guys like Mark Norman and Joe List, who, when they saw the drones, got really freaked out. So he's been, you know, talking about it for a couple weeks, almost a week before it hit the mainstream news. And at first, my instincts were, oh, it's UAP. We've heard about this happening over different military bases. We've heard about this happening in Colorado in 2022. They had a similar drone flyover event. So I thought maybe this is some kind of non-human entity, something we haven't seen recently. But then Mike started telling me that there were certain trusted officials who mentioned that this might have something to do with Trump. And that got me thinking maybe there's a connection between the Luigi Mangione assassination against Brian Thompson and this whole drone situation. So I got my...
Hold on 1 second. Before we start getting into theories, okay, I want to get into what exactly is happening. What exactly is happening, okay, is that, again, Mike had called me up and he said he saw these drones. Now, I've been good friends with Mike. Has to be 6 or 7 years now since the dojo started. We've been very close. We're both in recovery, so we're very close in that as well. And Mike saw 9/11. It was very much affected by it. So he can be. Whenever he tells me something, I go, okay, this is interesting. And then he just kept calling every day, going, "There's more of these drones." And then he started going that they're the size of an SUV. And this, I would say, this happened a couple days before it started even to trickle into the news. And there's people who work at the dojo who have military and police background. They were calling people. Nobody was getting any answers. And obviously, the first thing that everyone starts to think is this is Project Bluebeam. And everyone starts going, oh, my God, they're going to pull it, because it is literally the last card they have to play. Like, they played every card they've had. There's nothing left in the deep state, card deck. They've done, gotten the illegals in, the trans stuff, the weapons of mass destruction, 9/11, Russian collusion. They've used every single, the Me Too movement. They've used every single psyop I feel like they have in their bag. They tried to assassinate somebody. We've had you guys on discussing that. I'm with you. I don't believe it. I think it was a giant setup to kind of even corral people more into Trump, And so this is all they got left. We've been saying this forever. It was that meme, where the aliens are smoking cigarettes, going, okay, we're up next, starting to stretch. So they start coming. We're like, here they go. Here we go. They're in the sky. They started showing up everywhere. I'm going to be honest with you. I got back from Cancun. I was driving home, and I just, and I told Dana, I go, Dana, look at that up there, man. That thing is blinking. And it's like weird because we were near LAX, because you don't know if it's a plane or not, but it stayed there in the exact same place.
What color was it blinking, Sam?
It was like a white and then a blue and then a tiny bit of red. That's what I saw. But it was deep, and I'm like, am I just hoping to see this thing, or is it there? And it just was there. And then, because they say once you look at it, they disappear. Then I kept telling Dana, look, and then it was gone. And then we went past this like kind of overpass, and then bang, it was right there in the exact same place. Now, weird stuff has happened on the highways of Los Angeles. I told Johnny this on a broken sim, that I'd been driving. I'm just going to give you guys reference. As you go from Hollywood into the valley, they call it, you'll go like kind of over the 405 and around this bend on the 101, which brings you deep into the valley. So as I'm going over the 405 around the 101, I see this plane super close. And it's near Burbank Airport. So I didn't think anything of it. It's going to eventually land. So I see it kind of like, I'm tracking it like this, right? It's going bang, 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 and it goes right there. Well, I look down for a moment. I look back up. Hand to God, it's right back where it was before. And then it's doing the exact same trajectory. Like in the Matrix, when they say, there's a deja vu. There's like some weird, thing in the Matrix, a little glitch in the Matrix. So this area has always got some weird shit going on. But again, I'm driving back from the airport. I look up, and there it's still in the sky right there. And Dana's got bad eyes, so she's like, I can't see it. I'm like, I'm just there, and it's not moving. So that's kind of what he's seen forever. And, you know, people work there calling people constantly. Nobody will give any answers.
Well,
And like,
the point about them seeming to respond to observation. So they'll not only disappear when you notice them, but they'll also seemingly become attracted to people who are noticing them. That's what's been reported at the dojo. People out back smoking are standing there and they're going, oh shit, look, a drone. And then next thing you know, the drone is coming closer to them, doing a lap, circling above. So that's part of what's so strange about this is the drones seem to be somewhat responsive, and they also display these anomalous abilities like seemingly morphing into other shapes and then also disappearing, right? So this is all common UAP phenomena, UFO phenomena type stuff. But people wonder, like, well, what kind of alien species would be, you know, building a saucer and then, you know, building a drone? Maybe we're thinking about it all differently. Maybe these aren't aliens in the conventional sense of traveling from some other physical space. Maybe this is a plasma-like technology, or maybe this is completely spiritual phenomena that we don't understand. So,
doesn't this remind anybody of Ryan Bledsoe? Isn't this what he sees, kind of thing? Isn't it like when he talks about this is what I think he's seeing when we see it? Well, at least what the
he tweeted that to me, and I'm totally open minded to it. You know, the biggest thing I just want to do is like I want to eliminate a couple variables, and then of course you guys can jump in at any time. But I want to eliminate this is Iran or this is Russia. I think that needs to be.
Funny. Where were they coming from with that? It was House Republicans came out with the Iran
because they want war. It's so obvious what they want.
Let's look at some of the photos, and then maybe the Iran explanation might make a little bit more sense, because I thought that too, Johnny. So this is one county.
Wait, you thought what? Because I don't believe them, to be clear. I'm just wondering.
Yeah, I don't believe them either.
What's their motivation?
And the reason I don't believe them is because if that, let's say in a bizarro dimension, it is Iran. Like, we should, and I was saying this on Adam Carolla yesterday, we should dismantle our military down to nuts and bolts and rebuild. If this is, let's just say in fantasy world, Iran, after, you know, Pearl Harbor, assassination of JFK, 9/11, Russian collusion, you know, and we just go on, and now the red balloon floating, and now this. You know, let's just say, and none of us believe any of those stories, but let's just say those were face value true. Like, our military has completely and utterly not defended us. And so, like, what is 50 cents of every dollar going to?
Now,
so,
are you suggesting, Sam, there that they are incompetent, or that they've permitted them to enter our airspace?
Well, either one is neither's good, right?
No, I agree. I agree. But if it was Iran, which do you think is more likely?
That they probably
allowed it, right? Yeah.
What?
It's more likely they allowed it, right? We
right, which I don't see when you see the governor of Jersey just giving the most calm speech possible about the situation. You go, that's not how you act if you think it's either aliens or Iran.
Yeah.
You're like, well, we're looking into it. We're just going to figure it out and see what happens. And
I think that was actually the National Security Comms Advisor, John Kirby, who's the guy.
No, it was the guy. We watched the governor on Broken Sim, the governor of Jersey.
Murphy?
Yeah,
and he was in like a library. It was
and it was at some.
Is this the one where he was saying that? No, I saw that one. That was probably about four days ago. You have a lot of
it was maybe a week or more ago. It was he was in we watched it on Broken Sim. Like, what was that? That would have been like 10 days ago, maybe something like that.
Yeah, and this is where you start to get a lot of weird stuff, right? When it comes to like senators and congressmen and local authorities, and then versus the Pentagon coming out telling you a series of things like they're not ours, they're not a foreign adversary, but in the same breath they're telling you that it's actually hysteria and that nothing's happening. But people on the local levels are speculating as to whether it's time to shoot these things down. So you want to talk about a stark contrast. There's no cohesion, and we can get into that a little bit. I mean, this whole thing was predicted pretty accurately.
I hate to just pull the rug on Mark here, but Sam, if you want from the beginning, I think we should start from the beginning. And the beginning is not when people start looking up, which actually was around December 3rd, when people start seeing these drones in the sky. The beginning was in 2009. This is how
Right.
retarded this shit is. If you guys don't mind, can we just like kind of go back to that?
No, I'm totally down. I would love to set the history of it before we start to try to explain it.
Yeah. Top, you could take it away.
Okay, so you guys have had Cliff High on the show.
Yes.
He developed something called WebBot, and WebBot basically scrapes the internet for emotionally charged language.
Right.
And then
Predictive linguistics is what he calls it.
then it'll kind of like derive some sort of prediction about what may happen. So his WebBot has predicted the '08 crash. It's predicted 9/11 in some senses. It has a couple of predictions that came true. And the thing about this WebBot is because I've been doing a lot of research and really looking what the hell this guy was doing. It's not always accurate. And I know this seems kind of flimsy, but there's some veracity to it. And I was actually watching a Bitcoin documentary on Netflix the other day. Lo and behold, there's Cliff High. He's predicting his WebBot has picked up this fraudulent. It was basically like a debit card that you can spend Bitcoin with, and his WebBot picked it up through these predictive linguistics that are on the internet. It derived all this data, but it gave him information that was slightly off, and he thought that they were tied in with a bank. They were called. Their name was very close to some bank in the UK. So you could see the confusion, and he kind of endorsed them. They blew up. It turned into like a multi-billion-dollar, basically Ponzi scheme. And then he ends up on a podcast with the CEO and tears him to shreds. And he's just like laughing at him because the guy doesn't know what he's talking about in the crypto space, and Cliff does. So I'm watching this. I'm like, oh shit, because we're watching this happen right now. His WebBot predicts in 2009. And XG, if you could pull up in the drive, there's a picture that says Trump, Rogan, and Rogan. But his WebBot predicts that president will be interviewed by Joe Rogan. This is in 2009. So this is when you were in Rogan's basement probably doing his early shows, right, Sam? And basically he's like, I don't know where to put this. I think Sam is muted.
Yeah.
No, I'm here.
Okay, yeah. So I'm like, he doesn't know where to put this. So he puts it to the side. 2000 and I think it's like 2020, right around that election when Trump is supposed to debate Biden, he pulls it back out because he's like, oh, this might be the thing that I was looking at before, because the WebBot was giving him this language that was saying that Trump will be on a TV show, like a well-produced. This is a little bit further on, but actually the story that I'm telling right now, it says that Trump will be on a TV show and he'll be interviewed by Rogan, and it's like, it doesn't make any sense. But now there's words for podcasting, right? So it's a well-produced thing is what the WebBot is describing, like not a TV show, but it doesn't have the language for podcast just yet. So he revisits it in 2020, I believe, and he gets a remote viewer. I forget this guy's name. He gives him some sort of coordinates for him to go and check out. And you can go ahead and pull that picture up now. And the guy does a drawing. Well, before that, he goes, this is the guy that's being interviewed. He doesn't know any names. And he draws Joe Rogan. Then he draws this. It's a Trump interview. This is what he's seeing with these.
My God.
Yeah, dude, it's fucking nuts, right? So this is what they'll be talking about. And this is loosely what they talk about on this. I mean, look, not to joke on Rogan, but he even got the fact that he's kind of short. His legs are off the thing. And this is clearly Trump on the right side. It's crazy, right?
Wild. This is wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When was this drawn? Is that on this?
This was drawn in 2020 or 2021. Okay, but this is from the prediction that WebBot had given him in 2009.
Right. I can't explain why, but basically Cliff High is able to give this remote viewer a series of numbers.
I actually have, XG, in the drive, the series of numbers, it says target tasking, and that's the series of numbers that he was given.
Yeah, and that's how remote viewers view their target. I don't claim to understand it, but this is what this guy derived from it.
Yeah, it's just like A1X. I don't know what the hell it means. The guy gets this information from it, tells him, Cliff High goes, oh shit.
Those numbers.
Yeah,
there it is.
Right. So it's like, to my understanding, that this website is mostly for predicting crypto. Like they're in a crypto space. So, obviously there's a lot of money in that. So this is what these guys do. And Cliff gives him this number anonymously, comes back with these drawings, confirms what he's thinking, but he thinks that it's for that debate that he's having against Biden in 2020. It's not. Everybody knows how that turns out. Trump never goes on Rogan. So it's dead again. Here we go. Jump fast forward. It's the day of Bohemian Grove, actually, the October 25th.
Hilarious.
Yeah, that's when Sammy T gets on there.
Dude, I kicked this whole thing off, bro. I am directly connected to the drone wars, dog.
Yeah. And that's what we're here to discuss is your implications in this larger picture.
So it turns out it turns out that this prediction now is happening, and it's not just a prediction. It's called a temporal marker, and that's like something important when something happens and it's like a turning. Because what happens next, like we move into a new age, or like some people would describe it as the Kali Yuga, moving into this next age. Whatever. I mean, there's 1,000 words for it.
Well, on that point, Top, I was just taking these notes before the show. To Top's point, this temporal marker is a pivotal moment in time that's going to launch us into another. It's almost like you could imagine it like well, it doesn't matter. It's a big deal, right? Baba Vanga, who everybody in the conspiracy community with this is peripherally familiar with, she is an old woman from some unknown country, some relatively small place, a village, and she's famous for having given a bunch of psychic predictions. One of those things that she predicted was, and this is going to tie into it, alien contact in 2025. Alice Bailey, in conjunction with the works of Helena Blavatsky, predicted that in 2025 we were going to move into a golden age, which is interesting. Where do we hear that language recently? I believe Trump has said himself he's ushering in a golden age, and that this age, by the way, would be the age of Aquarius, and it would be marked by the return of Jesus Christ sometime after 2025. There is a lot of different, I don't know, I guess occultists and religions and things like that point to this time as being significant. But I just wanted to say that, Top. Please continue.
Hey, guys, the fiat money system is a dying institution. You got to hedge your bets. You got to get in front of it. And there's no better way to do that than precious metals. And that's why we want to tell you about our good friends at Wise Wolf Gold and Silver. That's right. Wise Wolf Gold and Silver. Get in on the metals game. Have it sent to you for as little as $50 a month. Let me tell you about Wise Wolf Gold and Silver. If you're paying attention, you know that de-dollarization is real. Fiat is fake, and you don't want to be left holding the bag when the dollar collapses. Gold and silver have been money through all of recorded history and are an excellent way to protect yourself from inflation and geopolitical turmoil. That's why I trust my friends at Wise Wolf Gold and Silver for all precious metals, all things precious metals. I love it. I am part of the Wolf Pack. Every month I have precious metals sent right to my house, and I love it. See, Wise Wolf Gold and Silver is veteran owned and A+ rating by the Better Business Bureau. No transaction is too big or too small. You can even roll over your 401k or IRA into physical gold and silver. And if you think you can't afford precious metals, think again. With the Wolfpack monthly membership program, you can get gold and silver delivered directly to your door for as little as $50 a month. As little as $50 a month, you can have precious metals. You start loading it up, man. By the end of the year, you'll have a good chunk of precious metals. Dude, it's crazy. You just go to samtripoli.gold. You can see all the different plans they have. Man, it's like $50. Lone Wolf, Warrior Wolf, $125. Alpha Wolf is $250. And it just keeps going up. Sent to your house. Right there. It's that simple. It's that simple. Easy peasy. Get in, get out, get your gold, get your silver. I love it. I'm doing it. Dude, I'm telling you, all of these affiliates I use, and I use Wise Wolf Gold and Silver. I use it all the time. It's real simple. So if you want to get in, this is how you do it. Wise Wolf Gold and Silver also deals in and accepts Bitcoin. So here's what I need you to do, okay? Go to samtripoli.gold, promo code tinfoil at checkout to receive free constitutional silver. That's right. And remember, in a world of bulls and bears, be the wolf. Guys, listen, I got to tell you this. Nobody's having babies. Nobody's having kids. Everybody's an incel. Nobody's getting laid. And you know who's trying to fight that? You know who's trying to save humanity? You know who's trying to stop the book Children of Men from happening? Blue Chew! That's right, Blue Chew. Let me tell you about our good friends at Blue Chew. Listen, you got to get rock hard for the future, and the only way we can do that is Blue Chew. Blue Chew is an online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra, but for a fraction of the cost. The process is simple. Sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with one of their online medical providers, and once you're approved, you will get your prescription within days. Blue Chew tablets are made in the USA, and prepared and shipped directly to your door. The best part, it's all done online. That means no visits to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations, no waiting in line at the pharmacy. Cannot stand that. Thank you, Blue Chew. You take them anytime, day or night, so you can plan ahead or be ready whenever the opportunity arises, okay? Blue Chew is for Americans. Blue Chew wants to make men rock hard. They told me that's our mission. That's the mission, okay? They will not stop until every man is bricked up like a brick shit house, okay? Till every tent is pitched, till every rod is raised. Discover your options at BlueChew.com. And with this we got a special deal for our listeners. This is how special you guys are and your junk is, okay? We love your junk here on Tinfoil Hat. We love how rock hard you get with Blue Chew, so we're going to do something special for you, okay? This is a special deal for our listeners. Try Blue Chew free when you use the promo code Tinfoil at checkout. Just pay $5 shipping. That's BlueChew.com. Promo code Tinfoil to receive your first month free. BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. We thank Blue Chew for saving humanity and sponsoring this show.
So I feel like Sam wanted to say something. He picked it. Any questions, Sam?
No, I would love to. And Mark, do you have any thoughts on this?
Mark is muted. Okay.
Mark has left.
Thank you,
Mark's
Mark.
not here, man.
Mark,
so
are you here?
I'll go ahead and while you figure that out. So this temporal marker happens, and it's the Rogan Trump interview. Now the webbot is telling him that 39 days after this happens, you're going to get a December 3rd event, which is a basic. So there's a lot of confusion around the December 3rd event, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I mean, for everyone, it's called 39 Days to Menace, right? Is that what
30? It's 39 days to melee. Now, one thing to highlight is that 39 days has some pliability within it because out of his predictions, there are some that come true, and then there are some that don't. But of the some that don't, they just don't come true within the time frame. So there's still an additional percentage there that's like it happened, but it happened several days too late. So, and just for clarification purposes, Cliff High actually went ahead recently on Twitter and gave his given definition for melee. And the way he describes it is when command is absent within active contention. And this results in individuated decisions, individuals that don't have a boss anymore making decisions, and those decisions produce chaos. So what Cliff High is saying is going to happen in this moment, it's going to be kicked off on December 3rd.
And
but what ensues,
I'll be honest.
it definitely did.
Because we were talking about this, we were joking about it, we did an episode, and we're like, let's see if it happens. It's not my prediction, but it's interesting. And on December 3rd, nothing happened. David's like, where's my melee in the skies? And then,
I got on Twitter and I made fun. I didn't make fun of him, but I busted his balls a little bit.
He starts sending me later in the
night.
He's
Pictures of you with a gun in the air, dude. That was so funny, dude.
I wanted it, dude. I've been waiting a long time for this UFO war.
But so it doesn't happen. But then he starts sending me videos from Facebook because he's from Jersey, so he got a lot of friends out there, and they're seeing like UFOs, and or they were describing them as like UFOs at the time. Then it turns into drones when it starts being reported, and he's like, "Look at this shit." Then maybe December 5th, it's reported now on local news. They're calling it drones right off the bat. But it's interesting how it does sort of start on December 3rd, and now it escalates to a point where we're at. I don't care what anybody says. We're at full-blown chaos. The definition that Cliff High gives here to melee is pretty accurate to what we're looking at.
Yes.
And it's not going to get better. If they're not diagnosing and saying what these things are, and I mean, it could be multiple factions up there because they all look different. They're all, who knows what the fuck's going on up there. We're very close to a melee.
Yeah, I'm with you, dude. And it's just super interesting because I remember going, when it dawned on me as well that this could be Cliff High's whole thing, and like how I'm like, oh my God, he called it. Like no one will ever understand it until you understand it. That this motherfucker who is like so deep into it, like Cliff High is one of those guys, if you have a conspiracy podcast, he like is so deep into it and he brings all the receipts. It's like the greatest interview you'll ever do because he talks about Khazarians and all that stuff, all the stuff that you felt you knew was right. He brings the receipts for.
So
here we are. Mark, thoughts?
You said December 3rd was what Cliff High predicted, right?
Yeah, and like I said, there's pliability within that 39-day time frame.
Let me ask you this. Was there any information about December 4th in the predictions?
I couldn't say that I'm entirely familiar with his whole body. So what's been clear as this process is unfolded and I've been researching more is Cliff has a lot to say. And I wouldn't even go as far as to call these predictions because that insinuates that they're hard. It's more like he's interpreting feedback from a system.
David, the exact prediction wasn't a date. It was 39 days after X event.
Yes.
So that's, we
did the math on 39 days after the Trump-Rogan interview.
Yeah, there was no date, he said. And there was also something about like a 90-day grace period too of like, he says it could be within that 90 days, which I totally understand because I think when you start getting into this is where conspiracy theorists always fuck themselves. They're kind of like doomsday cult leaders who are like, this day they shall come and we will go to the great ship. And then like a month out, they're sweating bullets because they're like, bro, this might not happen and I am fucked, So it's like you gotta give yourself grace period.
So December 3rd, right? We've got December 3rd. This is what you guys predicted, or not you guys, Cliff High. Makes total sense. I'm just bringing that up to highlight the fact that on December 4th, Luigi Mangione killed Brian Thompson, allegedly. If what we're told is what actually happened, I believe that there might have been multiple shooters. But what's strange about this whole event is that the drones that are being seen over New Jersey are all in proximity to New York City, okay? Obviously, they're in proximity to Trump's properties as well in Bedminster, New Jersey. But I think that this shooting of Brian Thompson was a cover for whatever the drones are going in after, right? So we have the established deep state already false flagging, ahead of time, foreshadowing that this will be Iran, right? Obviously, they don't want whatever faction Trump represents in power. They've done everything they can to try to get him out of legitimate power, down to whether these were staged events or not, trying to shoot him in the head twice, okay? So the first assassination attempt, whether staged or not, took place right around the same area where Luigi Mangione was apprehended. So this was in Altoona, Pennsylvania, and there's the whole Monopoly saga that's kind of the subtext to the Luigi Mangione situation. And what's interesting about Monopoly is Monopoly takes place, when you look at the board game, takes place in Atlantic City. Who's better known for Atlantic City than Donald Trump himself, right? So, this is kind of, I think, all connected in a strange way. The Parker brothers actually made the Monopoly board game in Altoona, Pennsylvania. Go for the woman who allegedly identified Luigi Mangione, her last name was Parker.
Fucking snitch.
So we have this sort of strange triangle going on over there in Pennsylvania with New Bethel, Pennsylvania, where I think the original assassin, Crooks, who, again, nobody's going to remember any of these ugly assassins now that we have this heartthrob assassin, right?
Hey, Mark, sorry, can I just interrupt briefly? I just want to give you a quick fact, too, by the way. Monopoly was stolen from someone. The original game was called the Landlord's Game, by the way. So.
Yeah, it was made by a leftist feminist who was trying
He's
to
more of a landlord than Donald
Oh,
Trump.
really?
Yeah.
That's crazy,
Parker
dude.
Brothers, yeah, they stole the idea from a leftist feminist, which at the time was probably something to be proud of, but now it's made a mockery of that.
That's crazy. And then you got all the 286s that are involved with this whole thing.
That's very strange. Yeah.
Where it's like almost like I think he wanted to get caught.
So
I mean, like he's in a ugly McDonald's.
What
The
up?
only
So-
good-looking guy there, just making weird eye contact. You know, you remember Johnny?
you-
We were talking about those guys gay cruising at a Chicago airport, like that. Luigi's just gay cruising, eyeballing everybody walking around, just hard eyes, like with his thick eyebrows, dude. That's me. I'm the only shredded guy here at the McDonald's.
So,
Wanted
what
to
up,
get
Sam?
caught
So you think it was
286
him?
miles away.
You think it was him for sure? You don't think it was another person, maybe a psyop?
I think it was. I look at the shooter. He definitely has like older guy vibe to me. He looks like an old, I'd like to say a 40-year-old guy like vibe to me. Reading energy doesn't look like the same dude.
It feels like we're in so many ops right now, like so many. Even this whole drone thing, by the way, I think it's something I want to get out ahead of the show. Is even though Cliff High did a good job of predicting this, and even though we are in the middle of it, I don't trust a single thing. Not even with I enjoy Cliff High a lot. He's a great guy, well spoken, highly intelligent, very charismatic, very likable. CIA, you know, his father was CIA. He grew up in a CIA household. He watched agents come in and out of his house. So take everything that, you know, he's saying and we're saying and the media is saying with a grain of salt, but we are like deep in psyops right now, and I'm having a blast, dude.
I'm the Conspiracy Social Club. We call it Conspiracy Christmas. That's what we're in right now, literally and figuratively. It's Conspiracy
Regular Christmas and Conspiracy Christmas.
They've layered all of these stories over each other to cause mass confusion, and there's the obvious, you know, they're hiding what's going on in Ukraine while Biden has his last hurrah in the White House. But it's more than that. I think what we're seeing is a fight between two factions of the cryptocracy, right? I'm not going to, you know, stand here and grandstand for Trump and say, oh, he's the savior or anything like that. But it's clearly there's an adversarial relationship going on between whatever faction Trump represents and whatever faction has the old guard position right now. And I think
so. The question becomes, why though? Why do they? If we're going to take it, if we're going to take it as this is a real fight, let's just say it's a real fight and not just theater. We're just going to take this moment and we're just going to go to what we call fantasy land, right? We're going to get on our little choo-choo in Mr. Rogers' house, and we're going to go to fantasy land. And we're going to pretend like this is a real fight. But the question is why? Because Trump gave $10 billion to Bill Gates, is completely and utterly Zionist. You know, like what is it that he has done that makes them not want to work with him? I mean, he is, in my opinion, outside the George Bush death cult. So
it's as simple as a turf war, Sam. I mean, theater is only real or unreal depending on your perspective. You know, the actors in the theater, in the play, they're living through the story, you know? So I think when we look at this stuff as theater, it's important to recognize that it's still the lives and the actions of people. Yes, it's orchestrated to a degree, but it's not, you know, altogether wholesale fake. I think, yes, there are fabricated events, but these people take on a role and it's orchestrated. There are people behind the scenes who don't like their identities public, who help orchestrate these things. And it's kind of considered a game on their end. And someone like a Trump, you know, they see the ability to vie for power in this way. They start to amass a team, and it just becomes one faction versus another. This has happened countless times throughout American history. So, and it's happened actually, funny enough, 100 years ago, we had Warren Harding and Calvin Coolidge in office, and they were some of the most corrupt presidents that America's ever had. You know, the public hated them. And there was actually, even funny enough, a pandemic that went down in the 1920s.
Of course.
And in 1824, there was something called the corrupt bargain that was struck. And that was, again, something that the public hated. So history repeats itself. And the elites, they game the cycles of history repeating itself.
Well, let me ask you this. I mean, have like a 50,000 foot view on this. Sam, I know you're down with the fallen angels and stuff. Not down with them, but I know you're down with the story.
You're down with the sickness.
Do you think that these fallen angels, the 200 or so that fell, and like there's nine of them that are quite important that sit at the table, you think that they agree on everything?
No.
Exactly. They rebelled against God. There's no way that they're sitting there in agreement and doing, working in lockstep. But their main goal is the same thing, in my opinion. So, like you say it about Trump all the time. He's like, Trump's the mafia. These other guys are Satanists. And I kind of agree. I just they're working for different bosses. And what me and David are trying to do on Nephilim Death Squad is trying to name and figure out exactly which boss, because there is a locality and an entity that these people work for. Now that I've gone completely crazy on the entity stuff, the most important thing about these drones and Cliff High's prediction is that we're going to be entering an age that he calls sci-fi age, where there's going to be there'll be disclosure and then a huge leap in technology. So what we're seeing here is, we're like Mark was referring to, this is kind of like there are two sides and they might be doing the same thing, but they might not agree exactly how to get there. So there'll be a melee. And there's been a melee going on for a long time now.
On that note, look at Luigi Mangione. Do you guys know what he did for work before he disappeared?
No.
Hold his ass.
So he was he was definitely doing stuff in his personal life that are questionable.
Played the skin flute.
But he was a data engineer, and not just any data engineer. He was a data engineer working in artificial intelligence, and his last employer was TrueCar, which I believe is they're the guys doing those artificial driven cars, right? The driverless cars out there in Austin, in California. So it's very interesting. You see someone like Luigi being caught up in the middle of what seems like a plot that involves more than one assassin, right? We've seen the photos that came out of Manhattan, and clearly there's multiple people there. There's multiple outfits. Color schemes are not all correct. And as you pointed out, Sam, the guy who actually pulls the trigger, if that was real, because who knows, have we seen an autopsy of Brian Thompson? Have we seen his body at all? Could Brian Thompson even be a real person? Could he be AI? I mean, that's a question I've had. But I think there's a group of people operating here, and the way these tend to flesh out, you have a guy like Luigi who gets caught up in the mix. He's thinking in one sense, oh yeah, I'm involved with these strange people and we're going to pull this thing off. He probably doesn't even realize that the assassination is a part of this plot. But then he gets fingered as the patsy. He has the evidence on him and he gets taken down. Why? Well, maybe because as a data engineer working for these companies in artificial intelligence, he had something that the faction, the deep state, didn't want this guy involved in, so they slowly pull him into this MK Ultra scheme. It's very easy to do this nowadays with bots. You can sort of gang stalk somebody into being coerced into a group, and then if you message it correctly, you could have somebody thinking that they're doing something for the greater good. I had a guy on my podcast who was stalked by Chinese dissidents, or so he thinks, and was essentially coerced into, a spying racket. And he backed out in just enough time to where he didn't actually implicate himself in anything. And the FBI got involved in all this stuff. But this is how these things work in cyber warfare. They take people, they do a profile on them, they figure out who's susceptible to certain agendas. And then they take a guy like Luigi, they bring him into a LARP, a live action role playing situation that has real consequences. And this happens very often, There's a couple different avenues we can go down, but I do want to at one point show you guys the images of the drones, because I think when you see
Hold on. I just want to finish the thought that we were having here when we were getting into factions. And what were you saying, Top? You were going into what this is, this melee, you were talking about Cliff High having this quantum jump.
Right. Yeah. So I think David could help fill in a second too, but the factions are super important because if this does go to alien stuff, which, Cliff he's predicting that we will make contact, and this is where I really depart from him, where he's really big on this alien idea that they're going to come down, and he's not saying that there are friendly space brothers, but that they're going to come down and they're going to bring knowledge and yada yada. Where have we heard this story before?
Well, in a sense, he kind of is, Top. I mean, he's saying that this melee, when it kicks off and this UFO element kicks in, he's saying there's going to be 3 participants. There's going to be 2 alien factions and 1 human contribution. So if we were to, kind of play a game and say, if Cliff was right, would that mean the drones are a human aspect? And then there are these anomalies, right? We don't have to bring it up now, but I have footage of what looks like the wheel that's described in the book of Ezekiel's wheel that appears to him. There's videos of this gyrating, sort of undulating series of lights and wheels within a wheel in the sky. And there's also images that Top and I watched recently on our show where we did a deep dive on this. It looks like Dementors. It looks like a black jellyfish pulsating with electricity. And this was seen by 2 different point of views over New York City. So there is an element that is much more difficult to explain. Does that lend itself then to what Cliff is saying? It possibly could. I just want to say on that note, you guys have spoken to Karen Wilkinson, correct? Abductee victim, was her entire life.
Yes.
What's significant, one of the biggest takeaways about Karen Wilkinson's story is having seen seemingly discarded alien grays that were lying in a pile. And this really starts to flesh out this idea that a lot of people had anyway, abduction victims and things like that the grays are sort of a biotech. They're a means to an end. I suspect that they are likely the way by which spiritual entities interact with our realm in a physical way. So they're using these things in a limited capacity, because otherwise they would be possessing human beings and such, if you believe what we believe. And I think they can sort of inhabit these things to get some physical jobs done, but it obviously has its limitations. There's no emotional range. There's no reproductive organs whatsoever on a gray, things of that nature. Now, Cliff said recently in an interview that we might likely see these 2 alien factions battle one another. They're in contention. And he said that the negative ones are likely the grays. Now, this is all speculation. I'm not saying Cliff has predicted this. This was him openly speculating, just having a conversation like we are. But it's kind of a genius move. We would never accept aliens as good guys. Why do you abduct us? Why do you impregnate our women? Why do you experiment on us against our will?
Why are you banging our chicks, dude?
Why are you banging our chicks?
Why are you doing Nephilim shit?
Exactly. Why are you taking us in the night?
I have a hard time connecting that to this drone flyover, considering we haven't had any abductions of people. But I'm totally with you.
Well, like I said, let me.
The drones are separate, though.
The drones are separate, and we do have
thought.
Yeah, we do have plenty of video of anomalies that don't make any sense according to being a drone. My point with the abduction tangent is we would never accept them because there's an entire subsect of the population who's been abducted and who hates these things. If they are technology, what an amazing thing to blame your lawnmower for being the bad guy. If these guys go, yeah, we are here to save you. We destroyed the alien grays, and those were the bad guys, but don't worry, we're the good guys. Well, then all they did was just they beat up their lawnmower in front of us and said, see, look, that was the bad guy. We're the good guy. So just something to consider here. But there is
as a matter of fact, to piggyback off of an episode that you guys just did with the Mandela effect in the Bible, I forget the guy's name, but at the very end. Steve Kerwin?
No, John Kerwin.
John Kerwin.
Sorry.
Yeah, he's way too confident at that. I'm like,
You said
way
that
too
like I really
confident saying
believed you.
somebody's
Greg.
name.
Kevin.
For sure, we're thinking of Steve Irwin, by the way.
Yeah.
Always,
The
dude,
crocodile
always thinking
hunter.
of Steve Irwin. R.I.P.
At the last 15 minutes, he was talking about this deception, right? And this disclosure that possibly would happen. And these guys talking to you through your head saying like Jesus was a space travel, all this Billy Carson shit. Can you see that happening with this sort of like what the picture that we're painting?
Hey guys, technology is growing leaps and bounds. So let me tell you about our good friends at Venice.ai, uncensored AI that gives you all the sources you need to do the best job you possibly can. So let me tell you about Venice AI. I'm writing a book. It's my spiritual journey. It's called Bang Bang Pow. Okay. All right. And it's going to be the Bible meets Game of Thrones. And Venice.ai is going to help me write it. That's right. Because it's got the best of the best. You like ChatGPT? Well, get ready to be left behind because Venice.ai is the real banger of all bangers. Okay. Text generation, just like ChatGPT, but faster, more efficient. A variety of models to choose from is like 6 tools in one. Unabashed and uncensored. Okay. There's no shadow ban in this dude, okay? If I want it, I get it, and I get it with Venice.ai, okay? Uncensored image generation. Often, image generators are restricted from making images that are political, including celebrities and more. We give you the power of several of the most cutting-edge image models for all your creative projects. Guys, we are winning, and we are winning big. AI characters that can interact with you. Code generation. Leverage Venice to build applications, debug, and translate functionality. Yes, who said that correctly? This guy right here. And that's all because of Venice.ai. So if you want to get in it to win it, this is what you got to do. You got to go to Venice.ai/tinfoil. That's VENICE.ai/TINFOIL. That's promo code tinfoil. Get it going. We thank Venice.ai for sponsoring this show. Hey guys, real quick. January 9th, I'm going to be with Xavier Guerrero, Eddie Bravo at the Spokane Comedy Club. And we're looking to go January 10th to be in Austin. So look out for those dates. And then go any dates. Just go samtribute.com. Anything else, guys?
No, hit that like button, subscribe, please, guys. Leave a review on Apple or Spotify.
To bring another recent episode up that maybe connects to this all, I would bring up Al Borealis talking about the whole Nazi saga, because what did we learn? We learned that the Nazis didn't lose World War II. They just merely moved to a different part of the world and set up shop and recreated this fifth column sort of style of government, where then potentially they invaded America through NASA, through these space agencies. And what are we seeing ever since then? We're seeing this whole Project Bluebeam context that's being set out so that when when this big staged event happens, people see it a certain way, right? And the conspiracy theorists are going to see it one way. The religious people are going to see it another way. The atheistic, naive materialists are going to see it another way. And I think that the whole stage has been set to do just that, to create those fractured perspectives and kind of work against the people because they can't uniformly understand what's operating against them, which is this fifth column of government. And I think, again, I'm not grandstanding for Trump here, but I think for worse or for better, he represents a faction that's clearly at odds with whatever deep state group had Obama, the Bushes, Clinton, Biden, and all the Clintons. Not
if you buy that it's a genuine dispute, yeah,
right.
If you believe it.
I see it. I sort of see it the other way. I mean, he is at odds with these people, but again, so it's like these people are trying to bring out death and destruction, and another side is trying to bring out some kind of bring about a weird prophecy. And if Trump is going to spearhead this golden age with us, where listen, if we have some kind of disclosure and there's technology that's given to us, like 0-point technology or some kind of anti-gravity stuff, which
by the way is Cliff's assumption. He believes that is coming.
Yeah, and we already have this shit, but that turns the entire economy of the world on its head, and that turns this guy into a savior. If you could, if you can figure out like super fast transport or eliminate the need for paying for energy and distribute that to the world, I don't know what happens in the. I mean, I guess I know.
You guys are like me, paranoid. I wouldn't say cynical. Maybe I don't know. But do you think that is in the cards for Trump? That Trump is a worker of good. That he's going to try to do change.
Well, can I piggyback on that too? Would that be good, or would that just put infinite number of people out of work and put us all on the government dime again? You know, we'd all be
all right. I'm gonna
yes.
UBI.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so let me answer
Tim Dillon. Yes, yes,
and
or
yes.
yes.
I'm gonna make this.
Thanks for wearing our shirt around Tim Dillon. That's fucking cool, dude.
That's incredible.
Yeah, dangerous retard. You guys should have wrote out retards. Why didn't you write out retards?
Because we're working on a show, and the RTRD is going to be Real Talk, Real Dudes.
Yeah.
Okay,
So it's a play on words. You can kind of get away with it. Yada yada.
Go. Respect.
So all right.
Some gay shit.
Yes, exactly.
Okay,
so
perfect.
So when it comes to is he going to do good things, and are those things good? My money is we're going to move into a really nice period. First, we're going to go through some real dark shit.
I hope so.
We're going to go through some real dark shit.
I am so tired.
I think December is going to be crazy. January is going to be even worse. I think by the time summer comes, we'll be in a new place. And I think for about 3.5 to 4 years, we're going to cook, dude. We're going to crush. It's going to be a lot of fun. During that time, just don't stop being a conspiracy theorist, baby. Just keep it up.
There, listen, I'm with you guys, and I'm not taking a side here. That's kind of the point I'm trying to make.
Someone's about to shit in our birthday cake.
Let's go. We're ready.
It's going to be a battle. And again, unless it's all theater and we're being shown this to just, fall into Trump's trap, if that's even a thing, I don't know. But now that we're here, let's look at the drones. And I'm like, all right, are these UAPs? What are these weird things, right? We're seeing a lot of dark images. We're also getting, this official, I think it's Honorable Lloyd J. Austin, whoever that guy is, taking a letter from Christopher Smith here about not just one drone, but a whole flap of drones that flew out over Island State Park, I believe it is, somewhere in Jersey. Not that familiar with Jersey, I apologize. Yeah. But so here we have another pretty interesting image. This one actually Mike Romanelli took and sent to me. And this one's kind of strange, but we're getting a lot of pictures at night. Here's a rare drone image, what it looks like.
That looks like that flying frog. Have you seen that like in like NASA when the rocket's taking off, that frog is flying?
Yeah.
Well, and there's been several reports of drones, not just the size of SUVs, but one of a drone the size of a garage. And some people are saying, "Oh, well, that's the mothership, right?" And even I think.
Wait. What makes it a drone? That's a plane. I mean, if it's to me, I would consider drones are like small. I don't know.
That's a plane to you?
It just means
no. I'm just saying a drone. We have to call it something else if it's fucking as big as a garage.
A drone means no one's behind the wheel. So.
That's all. Yeah, it just means unmanned.
All right.
Unmanned vehicle. If you're comfortable with drones being tiny, then call them drones.
Can I just say too? Most of these that you've showed up to now, and most of them that I've seen look for the amount. For the quality of the response, surprisingly terrestrial to me.
Oh yeah, they look nuts and bolts. They look like regular shit.
Well, they look like DJI drones, but like a more commercial version of that, because they have lights on them that would be consistent with what regulation requires, the red and the green lights. So
exactly,
you can identify them in the night sky, which suggests that they were built to a standard, some kind of a government standard. Now the ones that look like.
Well, just hang with me for a moment, because Johnny, you're on.
But what I'm trying to say, calling them drones still means they're human. We're acknowledging these are human, right?
Not necessarily. Not necessarily.
Yeah, just means unmanned.
Well, it would be a UFO then. Wouldn't it be an on-flying object? Because you don't know what it is. A drone would be a drone.
the distinction would be, yes, that there is a pilot. They're not in the vehicle, obviously, but there is a human pilot. If we're going to say that it's a UAP, then no, then that could possibly,
We don't know. I don't know.
Distinction without a difference, I would say there.
Yeah, I think most people XG are leaning towards the idea that these are unmanned aerial vehicles that have human pilots, and there's a big debate on who those humans are. But Johnny, your instincts are kind of on point, and there's actually some pretty good sources that have linked these drones to a UAV that the military uses for dirty bomb detection. I don't know if you guys saw this going around on Twitter, but this actually is potentially a downed drone that crashed somewhere on a freeway in New Jersey, and they shut the whole highway down.
Is that not the one that was on the West Coast? Oh, interesting. Okay.
There's a couple of them in New Jersey. There's also one in Brooklyn that went down in a Navy yard. And to Mark's point here, the Nuclear Regulatory Commission just confirmed that they are, in fact, missing radioactive material from Newark's port. There was radioactive material kept inside of a shipping container, and when it arrived, that shipping container was damaged, open, and empty. And so there is something strange happening with these drones.
This just starts to make me feel like this is a straight up. This is a psyop on a psyop.
I don't like this part. Admittedly, this becomes not my favorite part of this. I'm not going to lie.
This becomes like some weird 24 episode where we're just like, oh my God, the Iranians are going to blow. And then they just, they so want to get us into this war with Iran. And it's just like, this is where it starts to get weird. And my theories on nuclear war, nuclear bombs. So I'm just going to say
that. Gay. Mark, I want to say something really quickly, and then I want to pass the ball right back to you. I don't want there to be a nuclear aspect or a big bomb aspect to this situation. However, there's a lot of reports coming out now about the concerns about radioactive material. These things are moving in a formation that suggests that they are scanning potentially for this radioactive material. We do have a coinciding report saying that some has gone missing. I do believe, and I'll make a half-assed prediction here, you will see the language around this event start to shift. I've said this several times on Twitter, only for posterity, so I can go back and say, haha, told you so. We're going to see the language around this shift. They're going to start using more UAP language. You might see things like, I believe Mark talked about at the top of the show, plasma and things of that nature. And we're going to start to move away from the nuts and bolts aspect of this. I do think they're going to try to throw an alien monkey wrench in there. I don't claim to definitively know the nature of it, but it doesn't escape me that these things always have an interest in what? Military bases, which they're showing. Picatinny Arsenal in New Jersey, they're hovering over it, yada, yada. They're chasing Navy ships with fleets of 12, apparently, to 30 drones chasing Navy ships. They're also spending a lot of time around nuclear facilities. I don't like the idea, but we have to consider if there was a bomb involved, if that does happen, these things will show up afterwards.
You mentioned the crate that was broken into
Newark Port. Yeah,
I think this fits into the hypothesis, and I'm not the only person who has come up with this. Other people have, but look at these drones. Right, we have some pretty interesting photos, and they seem consistent. Right, and there are some
looks like an airplane.
Mm-hmm.
But look at. Look at the here's the drone that allegedly people in the military are saying this is what the U.S. military uses to detect nuclear or radioactive weapons, right?
Right.
Dirty bombs, etc. And there's a few Twitter threads that I saved where, according to these guys, here's a radar guy. He says that there's been a full lockdown.
Radar guy here. I love that. Radar guy here.
Radar guy.
Shout out radar guy.
So this guy, he apparently knows who's operating the drones. He says this is a part of a military drill being conducted by Space Force. Well, who created Space Force other than Donald Trump? And obviously SpaceX and Elon Musk are kind of company or corporate adjacent to that, what would you call that?
There's also There's also like a bunch of people on Facebook, which is this. I hate Facebook, but Facebook's a great source for information for this kind of stuff. And they're on like New Jersey community mom sites and shit. And they're like, yeah, some of my neighbors just picked up and left, and they're military. They
Yes,
like
right.
right before this stuff started to pop off. And this is maybe 4 instances that I've read about this. So I wouldn't be surprised if they knew what was going down.
Well, and I'll scroll through these, but we don't have to read all of them. But some people who are pretty confident that these drones are our own drones and they have something to do. And this I think this came from 4chan, I guess, somewhere that then was reposted on Twitter. But it says the drones over the East Coast aren't Iranian or ETs. The drones are ours. They're sniffers. They're desperately trying to find nuclear material because the deep state is planting a false flag with a dirty bomb on or before Donald Trump's inauguration. The wild, conflicting fairy tales in the mainstream media are to conceal the truth because they fear a panicked exodus from the East Coast if the retarded sheeple knew the truth. Not my own words.
Wait. So, what would be retarded or make you a sheeple if the truth was that there's a dirty bomb and you got out of there?
It's so stupid.
Well, yeah,
that's pretty shit.
I don't know what.
I mean, that's not really
dumb.
fair to. I mean,
Well,
if
I guess-
there was a dirty bomb, I wouldn't consider myself.
Johnny,
Yeah, I
if
know.
you were to say what the problem would be if you were playing devil's advocate, it would be the ensuing panic of a mass exodus from the East Coast. It would.
Or that wouldn't make the people who panicked and left.
No, certainly would not. I would be one of those motherfuckers that got out.
No,
I'd be
the
just as
retarded sheeple would be the people who stay.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
I'm just gonna stay. I don't give a fuck. Wear my mask. Feel good.
That's
So-
just one of many people saying very similar things, and it seems,
Again, Romanelli was talking about this way before everybody else was.
Apparently, so was
Involved
Baba
people
Yaga.
about-
another thing about Romanelli's experience that I wanted to mention. So Mike sat outside on his back porch all night watching one of the drones, and then a couple days later, he felt sick and had to stay home all day. Right, and this is not uncommon. This happens a lot, particularly with UFO encounters, but even with drone encounters. And if these are nuclear, drones that have some sort of, electromagnetic energy frequency that's detecting,
And they're blasting you with it.
yeah, you're going to get sick from that. I mean, that's kind of obvious. And then another interesting thing is a lot of the FM radio stations in New Jersey have been receiving signals from these drones.
That actually turns out to be bullshit. So what that was 106.7 Light FM in New York and New Jersey is their light station. During the
Banger
December
station.
months, it is a great 106.7.
Either way,
And
that aside, there are other strange things. I appreciate the knowledge there. There is a ton
Let him
of
finish a thought. What were you saying?
I'm just saying
About
that
106?
that it was debunked. So why?
Right,
why
but
time on
but
it?
go on. What were you saying about the station?
more or less what happened is it plays Christmas music during the December, and somebody was recording it. It had all these clicks and sort of noises. It sounded a lot like the scene from Signs, the Mel Gibson film, and where they catch comms on the baby monitor. But it turns out that it was slowed down gratuitously. So if you actually speed it up, and you got to go past 2 times speed, which is
Still,
unfortunately all they give you.
they-
It's just a regular voice.
There's been drones seen around these radio towers as well, and people's car radios they've reported weird things happening while
Yes.
these drones are flying over.
Yes.
Their clocks on their car reversing.
Have you seen, Mark, the parking lot full of cars that are just all of them put their hazards on? All of them are blinking at one. Not a single one of them has a human in it, and above it is a drone.
So wait
Oh
up.
my God, dude! That leave the world. That just sounds exactly like
It
leave the
does.
world behind.
It do.
Listening to all this sounds so much like leave the world behind. Like
Yeah.
it's freaking me out.
Well, and not to mention Luigi Mangione's lawyer is the wife of the guy who is P. Diddy's lawyer. So
Oh my
there is a
God.
huge sordid connection between all of this stuff. And I really think that the Luigi Mangione plot, he's a patsy. He got pulled into this because he had some sort of Who knows? Maybe he had some organic vigilante.
No, wait up. You brought that up. You don't think that back injury of his with the surgery and the
That's what I'm saying. So he could have had an organic vigilante sort of motivation for this because of his injury, but that would have been a likely pretense for them to pull him into some kind of MK Ultra plot. So that being the story that's being pushed out, and all the women, oh, he's such a heartthrob, and all the this and that about his personal life, that's all meant to be a distraction to keep people's eyes off of what's going on with this dirty bomb. And
but he is a heartthrob.
Started circling right the day before he did this, right?
Are you saying that you wouldn't, Mark? You're saying wouldn't?
Well,
don't say that. That's ridiculous.
I did see the picture of what he would look like if he was a female born.
Would
female.
for sure.
Oh yeah,
would for sure. But
FaceTime.
No, unfortunately, no, Mystic Mark is not swinging with Luigi Mangione.
Come
I'm just
on,
saying,
buddy.
if you
He's
had
got
to.
jizz gutters, dog. Have you seen
does,
those
dude.
jizz gutters, dog?
Drippy jizz
Trust
gutters.
fund dork who feels so entitled. If he isn't a patsy, he's a trust fund dork who thinks he's so entitled that he can take another person's life, which I don't respect that.
I mean,
Right,
what
but
sucks
if
for
I
him-
could, would I switch bodies? Yeah, dude.
What sucks for him is that he was very upset that after the surgery he couldn't get laid, and now knowing that all these females want him, but he's locked up, that must fucking suck.
I
don't know what's
We don't
real
know
about
that. We don't know
I mean,
anything,
they're
dude.
like saying he loves black dick. It's just
Yeah,
like they're just.
like-
It's really weird how they're trying to destroy him, but really build him up. Like
right.
it's
It
just
almost
nuts
feels
to
like,
me.
in my opinion, it just feels like they gave the internet a hero. But I do want to say something on this topic. It is important to consider the rest of what Cliff High suspects was going to happen, and we're saying suspects. I don't say predicted, but he does believe, and I'll keep this short, that this is going to be the beginning of turmoil on a government level. That's going to be due to, he's speculating, the elimination of the deep state, which is an interesting thing to consider. And what he's saying is the signs of that are what we're going to see. Not the actual fighting, but over a period of months, we will see infighting. You have to imagine if the deep state has various crisis actors on their payroll, maybe groups that are meant to infiltrate movements, like a Patriot Front kind of a deal. Anything that they would be in command of would have contingency plans for if command was no longer reachable. So if something happens to them, we would see a bunch of potentially false flags, shooting at one another. We'd see the Spider-Man meme where they're all pointing at one another. And I think it is important to highlight here that one of the things he says is it will start as a lack of cohesion that will be visible to the general public. And right now, the state level is fighting with the federal level. The feds are saying it's not real. In the same breath, they're saying, they're saying that it's hysteria, but they're also saying it's not ours and it's not a foreign adversaries, which is interesting language to use because by process of elimination, I feel as though they're priming you to say it's UAPs. But there are military ramifications, these naval ships being chased by these drones. Local authorities are starting to now kind of nudge. Maybe these things should be shot down.
What if we're looking at a war between two factions of drones? Because drone warfare...
That's exactly what he says. He says there is 3 factions. There is 2 UFO elements and 1 human element. And that we are going to see the UFO element come to fruition. By the way, this all leads to the collapse of the dollar, the falling apart of the deep state, and the introduction of 0-point technology.
Yeah.
Take it with a grain of salt, but that's what this dude who did a pretty damn good job of predicting this said is coming.
Yeah, he also says it leads to the 0-point technology energy being distributed intergalactic network. So he's comparing it to the Akashic records, but I don't believe in space, so intergalactic is bullshit to me. And the revival of ancient languages, which is actually a very interesting prediction. Specifically Hurrian. It's a Near Eastern language tied to metaphysical understanding. So think like Enochian language that Tony Merkel would cover, something like that.
Yeah, and he's also saying that this is going to be such a dramatic moment for people that there's going to be a mass falling away of people from the world religions and a consolidation under this new type of religion. I'm not saying that this guy is right. What I'm saying is Donald Trump is ushering in a golden age. Helena Blavatsky and what the hell is it? Alice Bailey are saying that this is 2025 is the beginning of the age of Aquarius, allegedly. There are so many things. Cliff High is pointing to this as the beginning of what he calls sci-fi world. We're at the cusp of something.
Also, one more thing to sprinkle in. I mean, historically, not every time we've had UFO encounters, but every time we've been close to pressing this nuke button, whether you believe it's real or not, there's been reports of UAP or UFOs shutting these things down in the area, interfering in some form or fashion all over the world. And now we have it.
But up, you brought that up. So is there any other world reporting on this? Is Russia freaking out?
Yeah,
is China freaking out?
China's having them. I know that China is, and I know that the UK is. But last time I checked, that
Iran as well. They were like, it can't be our drones because we got fucking drones over here too.
They had them over. They had them over the UK. Yeah, that's true. And one interesting thing about New Jersey, again, is the Picatinny nuclear arsenal, which is right at the heart of where all this drone activity is, allegedly in the past has done some pretty interesting things. They've developed like space weapons, like lasers that channel lightning bolts or lightning rods, this sort of strange like lightning weapon. And they've also allegedly taken a downed UFO into the Picatinny arsenal, and a couple of years ago 2 guys took their own life at the Picatinny arsenal. And anytime that happens, there's always some strange conspiracies that come out. You know, why would these guys take their life? You know, so it's a strange place that's had activity like this for years. But I want to just go back to the Cliff High predictions, because if there is a battle in the skies, as he predicts, this sky melee, we could be seeing that. What would drone warfare look like? It wouldn't look like World War II dogfights with planes shooting bullets at each other and missiles. They would have bigger drones that basically pull drones in, right? So you have a system that uses like a GPS scrambler, and you pull the drone to a certain location that you want it, right? That's one type of weapon. Then you just have, you know, straight up like you fire an EMP at the drone and it dies on the spot and falls to the ground, right? There's all sorts of weapons that you would have in this drone context that you wouldn't necessarily recognize with your naked eye. If you saw 2 drones battling in the sky, it might just look like they're all circling in a group. It might not look like they're, you know, fighting each other. You might think, oh, what's that group of drones doing up there? They must all be together. Meanwhile, you know, they're simultaneously trying to hack and vie for the control of all the drones, right? Like that could be going on before our very eyes and we don't know it. I think that's very plausible. And this whole Luigi Mangione, again, is a subtext for it. Like, let's distract the public with this CEO healthcare, of course, healthcare, because that's a hot topic that, you know, everybody argues about, regardless of whether CEOs are getting shot in the street. So, I don't think these events are unrelated. And
I think there's a lot of stuff going on here. And I think one thing we got to look at is like, there's so much stuff coming out where like, Billy Carson getting just curb stomped, right? And there's a lot of people that don't necessarily think the guy who called him out, what was his name that called him out? Wes. What was it?
Wes
Huff.
Just Wes.
Wes Huff. You know, there's some people that have problems with what Wes Huff and things he said, but Billy Carson seems to be completely and utterly, curb stomped. His wife sounds like a retard, right? I mean,
isn't it interesting though, because he was just on Alex Jones's show talking about the drones, giving everybody an update and telling them what they should believe on the drones, which I thought was interesting.
New age shill,
but now you got this flat Earth stuff going on, and not that the people who push flat Earth are bad people at all, because I think they just want to get closer to God. But there seems to be this kind of knowledge coming out right now, this truth more than ever. And whatever you want to say about the internet, I've always said this. I think oil is God sent, and I think the internet is God sent, even though it comes maybe from a dark source like DARPA and the CERN, right? But maybe it's like it's been brought out to like kind of get us back on track and to tell the truth. And maybe its technology is right along the lines of the good that these drones could possibly be doing. And we're entering again, like you said, a golden era. Now, I've seen sometimes people said a golden time or a golden era. There's some darkness with that as well. But
I think you have your instincts are right there, Sam. But you made a good point, David, because I thought of this while you're saying that. Like the elites for the longest time were trying to like almost give us an artificial golden age, and they failed with 9/11 to do this occult ritual. And I think again, not grandstanding for Trump here, I did vote for him, but I'm not grandstanding for him. But I'll say whatever he represents, I think is taking that momentum that they started, and it's actually and maybe I'm just an optimistic hippie here who wants the world to be a better place, but I believe that golden age is possible. It's just not going to come by corrupt, evil, demonic lizard people pulling it in. And I think for the longest time, they thought that if they were in charge, they would have all their sins cleared because, we brought on the golden age. No, God doesn't work like that. God's like, no, you guys are evil, and until you're punished, nobody's going to get the golden age. That's how I think it really works is until we have some accountability and we remove these people from government ourselves. And I'm not advocating for what Luigi did. That's a totally different story. But I think until we have some accountability and take on our own autonomy, we're never going to have that golden age that's promised to us.
Well, I just want to say something. Obviously, murdering is sin, right? We all agree on that.
Yeah.
That's a sin. But to deny somebody health care because an AI tells you to do it, to me, seems to be a sin as well, not taking care of God's children. And we have lived in a world where like the, Enron, falsifies numbers to do a deal for power with California. And a corrupt judge says, even though they lied about the numbers, we have to honor the contract. Like these are things, okay, that are happening where people of money and power seem to be above the law. And it just seems like there's this predator class that is above the law. And I'm not saying kill people. That's not what I'm saying. But we haven't had a good gallows in a long time.
Touche.
And when the gallows came, people started getting scared. Well, if there's ramifications for your actions because you have enough money and lawyers that you can just bury someone in court forever, there needs to be ramifications. There needs, like, for us, jail is, we lose precious time of our life where we could be providing for our kids and being with our kids. For the elites, they seem to be above jail. I mean, like, who knows what this guy from Celsius is going to get who sold like $1 million for me, right? I mean, like literally $1 million that I earned by investing in crypto. He sold it all trying to run to Israel. And who knows? What's he going to get? 10 years? What's he going to get? 5 years? What's he going to get bailed out by Trump or whoever is going to let him out because he's Israeli? Like, that's the real question, dude. Like, what are the ramifications for your actions? And like, yes, I understand this guy has kids and it's super sad for his kids, but his kids will eventually learn that their dad was using AI to deny people like life-saving coverage. And I'm sorry, but there are ramifications for your actions. And everybody on the right who just so pro-gun, now they're like upset that like people who are just doing anything for a fucking dollar, already having millions of dollars, selling off stock, fucking people out of their money, got, and now they're upset. And I'm sorry, dude, but like you have Lindsey Graham who wants to send all of our sons and daughters to die in fucking banker wars, and he's never going to go fight a war. Fuck that piece of shit. Throw him in Gaza with a spork and see how he fucking goes. Well, so I don't have a problem with it.
The freedoms that we take for granted were fought for by people who had to kill for those rights. So let's not forget that. There is a level of...
What do they say about the Tree of Liberty?
Needs to be watered.
Watered
blood of tyrants. Well,
yeah.
here's the part that scares me about that is that so the cabinet that I see Trump forming, it's a white pill because these are all the people that are going to remove the teeth of the FBI or RFK. You're going to investigate the people that were in charge of the lockdown, the COVID lockdown regimes. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see some kind of justice. And I wouldn't be surprised if it gets to the level of like, the Colosseum in Rome, that kind of justice.
Wait up. Like Dr. Fauci getting locked up? That's
like, If you see beheadings, if we start going back to that, I would not be surprised. But this is like ushering in this golden age, right? This new era of where we're going to be, people are going to be all in their glory. You know, if the economy is great, if we have better technology, if the tyrants that ruled over us actually were punished, all good and fine. But what does that promise come with? You know, because like in Revelation, like the first 3.5 years look pretty damn good. Well, not if you're a believer still, but if you're in the world, it looks okay. I'm just saying everything that we're lining up to looks like a lot like biblical prophecy.
I'm of the school of thought, dude, and I just got to say it. It's like, look, I like Trump a lot. This is all a script, in my opinion. You don't get.
I voted for him,
right? But you don't get Anthony Weiner sending his dong on and to a young girl, or you don't get Bernie Madoff running and making off with your money. You don't get all of these insane things unless I'm sorry, you don't get the Ingersoll Lockwood books. You don't get books in 1800s written about, you know, Little Baron Trump and the last president, narrated by a dude named the Don. You don't get 1958's the Track Down, a Western series with an episode called The End of the World, where a con man comes to town named Trump, and he tells everybody that the world's ending and that they've got to build a giant wall around the town in order to protect them. These are real things.
You guys, sorry,
so
David, you just reminded me of something. Have you guys ever heard of Max Teghart's quantum suicide experiment?
No.
So this guy, essentially, just layman's simple terms, he took a Russian roulette, the game Russian roulette, and did it with decaying particles. And he figured out that actually the particle will figure out a reality to live in where it never has the bullet fire. So put that in human terms, you play the game Russian roulette, and every time you pull the trigger, you enter a reality where the bullet doesn't fire and you don't die. And I think there was a documentary or a film that was made based on this concept, and it does a really good job of portraying it. But think about it like this. If we live in this simulation that something like Cliff High's web crawlers can go and figure out the secrets of the Matrix and give us these clues and hints and what look like predictions, maybe that's because we're living in a reality that's kind of like that Russian roulette game, where every time the elites try to pull the trigger and end it, the barrel spins and we, you know, fires a blank again, right? Like maybe there's no way the elites can, you know, destroy the world because the universe we're living in is inherently built to support life. I think that's something we all kind of.
There's no way they can destroy the world, because when they created the fallen angels, when they created this plot to overthrow God and eventually to rebel and to have this final battle, they had to speak it into creation. They had to manifest it. And then after they manifest it, God said, fine, and he put the things into motion. So there's really for them, it's a Calvinistic point of view for them, these entities, but there's really no avoiding what they can do. Like, even if you look back at the birth of Jesus Christ, you know, they didn't want him born, and he was born, even though King Herod was going around and trying to kill the babies. And they even fulfilled their own prophecy by killing him. So there's no avoidance to their fate. They've already spoken it, and we're headed in that direction. How we get there is what I'm looking at. Like, as we unravel this mystery of, all right, where are the signs and where are they pointing, and how far are we away? And how can I not be deceived? Because there's a lot of twists and turns on this road.
Right. And that deception is what gets me. It's like I said, I like Trump, but go ahead, do a dive on him. What is his uncle doing at MIT getting recruited by the FBI to clean up Nikola Tesla's inventions and do a report on it? There's an endless amount of strange shit about this guy who I really enjoy, but I don't trust him worth a single shit. And everything just, I mean, you sit back, man, and all of this looks like a movie. It all looks like a movie constantly. How am I supposed to ignore that? I can't ignore that. It doesn't make any sense. Like I said, you can't make off with my money and have your name be Bernie Madoff. It doesn't make any sense. We live in some sort of a scripted reality, that's for certain. I think we grasp at straws with our limited understanding of human beings. We call it simulation theory. It's like, oh yeah, this is a really well fleshed out world that was created by a creator. Go figure. Who's been telling us that forever? You know what I mean? But in our limited understanding, because we can create, Fortnite, we go, well, look, we make a simulation, so this must be a simulation. It's like our language is limited, our understanding is limited, and we're reducing this entire experience to something that we think we can grasp. We can't grasp it. We can only call it silly shit that changes every so many thousands of years. But from the jump, The story's been there. Yeah, somebody did create this. Yeah, we are going through something. Yeah, there is a script and it's going to end a certain way. And I don't know if you've been looking around lately, but it looks like a lot of things are being revealed, almost like we're in a revelation.
Yeah, and I like that. And, I do a lot of stuff. I hang out with a lot of Christians. We talk a lot about the Bible. We talk a lot about Christianity, a lot. And sometimes they get sensitive what I'm saying. But if we look at the other Abrahamic religions, we look at any Abrahamic religion, there seems to be an invisible hand manipulating moments of it, right? Like we take a look at Queen Elizabeth being a direct relation to the Prophet Muhammad, and how the Prophet Muhammad was really white with red hair, right? We get into that, and then we get into the Talmud, the Babylonian oral history of the rabbis, and that's done to Judaism, and what the Council of Sinai, is how you say it, what they allowed into the book and what they didn't allow into the book, and all that stuff, and those manipulations that go on. That is it possible that we get sold that a certain thing is going to happen? In reality, it might happen a little different way. And that the end is like love. I mean, I'm not saying that the book of Revelation isn't it. If you actually go through what's going to happen in the book of Revelation, it is intense. It is crazy.
Sam, can I say something about that? We just talked about this in the last show. It's like,
is it the Council of Sinai? I feel like I keep butchering you
Nicaea.
laughing. Nicaea. There we go. Council of Nicaea. There we go. Sam's a retard. Dangerous retard.
There is all of this terrible stuff that happens, but it's like, the system has to be destroyed. In the end, God gets what he wants. He wants us to be by his side. This is like a long trial, like a long court case that we've been living through. We have to allow them to do these things so that we can bear witness to the things that they've done, so that we can stand and make a testimony against them. It's
the greatest argument for the fairness of God. I'm sorry, I have to say this.
No, yeah,
so many fucking retards go out there and be like, this guy, childhood cancer and all this. It's like, yeah, he's sitting back. He's letting you play out your fate. He's even letting these angels who really, they don't have any agency, or they shouldn't have. He's letting them play out their fate. And it's going to end up the same for them. But it's like, it's ultra fair. It's the most fair thing you can do.
Yes.
Let somebody dig their own grave, and we watch it every single day.
That's why I'm not even remotely black-pilled. I'm the type of person now that sees this crazy shit, and every time I see something that's insane and looks like a movie, I fall out laughing, dude, because it just further solidifies this idea that, like, yeah, whatever we're experiencing is performing this way for us to go through, make our decisions, have our agency, and this is all going to come to an end at some point. I genuinely do believe that, and not because I was raised as a Christian. I was raised as a conspiracy theorist. I've been a conspiracy theorist since I'm 16 years old. It wasn't until there it is. It wasn't until 30 that I was like, you know what? Fine, I'm going to entertain the biblical worldview. All of a sudden, everything that I had been looking at made so much more sense, and it just continues to. It's vindication after vindication. I think, obviously, Christianity, the church, has given us a truncated view of the Bible and prophecy and things of that nature. If you take the time to look at this thing, it is rich with detail about the supernatural and context about what we're going through. And I see it unfolding constantly. So, yeah, it's not a black pill at all, dude. I don't look at this and get upset. I look at this, and it's kind of like a celebration. I'm like, oh my God, the 9 to 5 and then dying is not all there is to this realm. There is something supernatural and far beyond it. That's why, we're sitting here having this discussion about, well, what about the future of politics and the future of the financial situation? And what about these nuts and bolts drones? There is the background, the tapestry to everything that happens right now is spiritual. It's supernatural. And to have anything less than that conversation is, in my opinion, a waste of time.
Doesn't it suggest to you what you just said also, that the ultimate principle for the creator is free will? That he would let you choose destruction, your own destruction?
Well, you have to...
That to me underlies everything, is this idea of free will, that you're given a choice. And it matters. What your choice matters.
Yes. And your choice does matter.
Yeah. And that to me is maybe the most important thing, is that
he needs you to choose him. And this is that's all the Bible is constantly over and over. Every single story is like, will you choose me now? And each time they don't, he kind of gets further and further away. And it's like, it's not dispensationalism, but it's just kind of what's been going on. And he's like, well, how about if I send my son? Will you choose me now? I was like, oh, we'll kill him. will kill him. And some people will still choose him. But that's just a constant question.
Yeah.
Because
What if my spirit dwells within you and is your ever present conscious? Will you choose me then? No.
Like, no, I want to make an OnlyFans and show my butthole. Get out.
That's exciting, though. Those are-
Want that butthole money, baby?
Give me that
Genuinely, though,
butthole
that
money.
excites me. That idea. That idea is energizing to me.
Yes, it is energizing, dude. That's think about that. That's the lens through which I look at all these things. So when I see a guy named like Cliff High make these predictions, that, by the way, it's like everything is pointing to Revelations right now, prophecy unfolding. So Cliff High is not the end all be all. There are so many other people that are contributing to this. And also, if you read the Bible, you're like, okay, yeah, checks out. So when I see him make that prediction, I go, oh, okay, maybe now I have at least an idea of a relative time frame in which to pay attention. And when I pay attention and things start unfolding, I literally just start punching the air. Like, I'm so pumped that this is happening. Mostly, man, if it wasn't even because in the end God wins, at the very least, it's because the 9 to 5 is not all there is. That is, if that's not a victory lap, I don't know what the hell is.
Completely agree.
I agree, guys. We're going to go around, hear the guests and their final beliefs of what happens all the way up to the inauguration, and then their belief on what's going to happen in the 4 years of Trump. Mark, why don't you kick us off? Mystic Mark from My Family Thinks I'm Crazy. What do you think happens before the inauguration and the 4 years? Quick, precise.
Yeah, well, exactly everything I've said already. I think the Luigi Mangione thing was a cover for whatever's going on with this bomb that the drones are looking for. So, be safe out there, folks. If you see drones concentrated in an area, I would maybe consider getting out of that area, but I don't want to alarm anybody. I don't know. I mean, predictions aren't my thing, so but I do know that I will have 2 fantastic episodes of the My Family Thinks I'm Crazy podcast a week. I just put out an episode with Anthony Peak, and it was really interesting, talking about quantum suicide and other concepts like that. And yeah, always a pleasure to be here on Tinfoil Hat. So no predictions, but I definitely think people should just keep their head on a swivel and be safe this holiday season. Be as safe as you can be.
Perfect. Top Lobster.
Oh, predictions. I think I agree with Mark in the macro. Well, I guess in the micro, where we're looking at this drone thing. So until the inauguration, I think shit's gonna get real weird. And the first time or the second time we were on your show to discuss the Trump assassination, I made the claim accurately that they don't really give a shit if they kill you. So yeah, if this is part of their psyop or whatever kind of weird infighting they're doing, they might kill you. Stay out of harm's way. For the widescreen view, I think that Trump gets in. I think things get markedly better. I think he gains, and you're seeing it now, almost like 100% unanimous approval across the United States, and that's when we should really be paying attention. The first 3.5 years of the tribulation is the and I'm not saying he's the Antichrist, but what I'm saying is that person brings about a world of peace, prosperity, and then after a while they ask you to do something for them. It's like, I've given you this, now bow to me, now worship me, now take the mark, whatever it is. I'm not saying that he's going to do that. It's looking a fucking lot like that's where we're going. Don't be fooled when we get there. TopLobster.com.
Okay, Raven, thoughts?
On that note, doesn't it say that when they say peace and prosperity, that sudden destruction shall fall upon them? Something to that extent. So predictions over the next couple of months, things are going to get horrifying, not necessarily for you sitting in your chair, but the uncertainty of watching this shit fall apart on television might be a reality. We could very well see the dollar collapse in the next 2 months. And I know that's kind of wild, but that's not necessarily my prediction. And also, I'm retarded. Yeah, by XRP, apparently. I don't know if that's true, but I'm just saying, I'm retarded. God. Take this all with a grain of salt. I think that it gets really bad, and then come by June, we'll be coming out of it. There might even be an event where you see Donald Trump on television in some sort of a setting that is reminiscent. This is Cliff High's words. That is reminiscent of like a Thanksgiving feast. He's eating, and the nation collectively is looking in hindsight what a terrible thing we've been through, but forward, what a beautiful thing is on the horizon. So aliens, dollar collapse, demolishing of the deep state. We come out of it. We go into a really nice period. When that period comes, guys, please, just because they've given you as a conspiracy theorist everything you've wanted, they've addressed vaccines and fluoride in the drinking water and Epstein's Island and all that shit. Don't stop being a conspiracy theorist. Don't go on a victory tour just yet. Just continue using the same discernment and critical thinking that you've used for as long as you've been a conspiracy theorist.
Use it to position yourself now, because we think that something really uncomfortable is coming after that.
Yes. And strengthen your relationship with God. Seek out Jesus Christ and have a relationship with God. That's it. No plugs.
Love it. All right, guys. Again,
we do 7 days a week in Nephilim Death Squad, so watch that show.
Damn,
sometime.
dude, you guys are gonna drive yourself crazy eventually. But keep going. You guys got a great show. Mark, you got a great show.
You're one to talk, by the way.
That's exactly what I thought. I was like, "What? This dude's telling us that we're doing it because you do it."
Yeah, you're the one that started. You're the one that started having more than 3 podcasts.
I'm not. I'm telling you, I'm the guy way down the timeline going, yeah, you're about to go nuts because I'm going nuts. I need to.
You know how many shows I do a week, Sam? I do another show too. I do about 10 episodes per week, and it's all because of you, conspiracy dad.
Hey, you guys. If you don't want to learn about shit, you could watch Tower Gang and just hear slurs and whatever. That's where I do that.
Those are a few of my favorite things. All right, guys, let's break down the episode. All right, what'd you guys think?
I'm glad I don't live on the East Coast. I'm glad I'm here on the West Coast. A little bit of less drones than usual.
Less drones than usual. I thought I saw one. It's a little crazy. I mean, this is crazy times. Like, this to me has the feel of when COVID started coming. You're like, something big is coming.
Ooh, yeah.
Right? It's like, are we really going into this crazy as shit?
Yeah, it's
what the
weird.
Fuck is this?
The government just doesn't usually, unless something big is afoot, allow things to get this prominent, this widespread, that are mysteries. You know what I mean? They're not. But ever since the disclosure thing started and the government started openly talking about UAP, like things, yeah, it's all bets are off with anything in the heavens. It's a weird time.
Yeah, I didn't ask this on the show, but obviously they're okay with people freaking out about drones, and they say it's because they don't want them to freak out about the nukes. You think it'd be a different type of freak out if people found out that there's a dirty bomb? You really think it'd be
of course. It would be like first 40. It would be like 24 with Jack Bauer. Everyone running around the streets crazy. That's exactly what they're doing. But that's what they want you to do. They want you to think there's a dirty bomb, and then if something goes off, they're going to blame it on Iran. That's the whole game plan here. They think we're stupid. They just think we're dumb.
So if you lived in New Jersey, you'd be getting
probably
the fuck
right.
out of there
You're
right
right, Johnny. 500,000 Bronny James jerseys have sold. We are dumb.
Yeah,
we are dumb.
There it is. Yeah.
We are a nation of retards.
Absolutely.
Would you leave, Sam, if you were in the East Coast? If you were in Jersey, you'd get the fuck out of there?
Well, let's just say I had people that listened to me, and I had somewhere to go. Probably, I'd probably go into the inauguration, be like, "Let's go live in our other house over here."
It's like that episode of Curb where he finds out that there's going to be a terrorist attack in LA, and he tells too many people or whatever, and they end up. Yeah, I would leave town. I would absolutely leave town. Yeah,
Johnny, you literally left town. Johnny literally left town.
Johnny,
I'm 30-minute drive from Fort Bragg. It might not be the place to be. The largest military installation in North America.
I love the Nephilim Death Squad guys. I love Mark, even though he can drive me nuts occasionally with his.
What do you mean?
Let me. Okay, let's start here. No, dude, zip it.
That's unfair to Mark, Sam.
Come on, he knows how to run a podcast. He's got the #1 podcast in the country.
It's just unbelievable.
That's a good point, XG. That's a
good. The what?
Yeah, XG makes a good point there. He said that Mark's got the #1 podcast in the country. We should listen to him.
Yeah, of course. So I thought it was a good episode. I'm glad it went the way I wanted it to. And I thought it was a fun episode. And I thought we learned a lot. And both those podcasts that they do are highly informative. And I love it. Like, have you guys heard of Ward Mode? Ward Mode? They're a conspiracy podcast out of Philadelphia. And, they're friends with Shane Gillis and Matt McCusker. I think that's how you pronounce his last name. I'm really bad with names. Don't judge me. It's Matt's brother. And they were just on InfoWars tonight. And it's great to see. It's great to see all these podcasts popping up. And it just lets you know that we're winning. And I really do win. I think people give them too much credit, the fucking powers that be, that they can control everything. I don't think they can. I think they are they're people, and they're losing the info war. And I think we're I saw this advertisement the other day going, hate is everywhere more than ever. Nope. I think people are more together than ever. I think what you're seeing right now is people being able to take a joke and everybody equally getting shit. And I think that's very important. I think when you pull some shit, you shouldn't be a protected class and you should get lit the fuck up. Just like white people in 2018. And I think that's where we're getting there. And I think more and more people are laughing at themselves, which is healing. We're healing right now, which I think is super important. Guys, we're wrapping it up here. Anything else, guys?
No, that's it.
So go check out Nephilim.
I love those guys. Yeah, they're
and the my family thinks I'm crazy. Go to samtribute.com. I'm on fire. I'm cranking out. Even though I'm going to take some time off, I'll probably do some premium content. Go check that out. Just put up something about the whole flat earth thing that Johnny's got a rock hard boner for. Very excited watching flat earthers scramble. I'm doing premium content, getting a lot of crazy stuff.
It's kind of the biggest thing going right now, the nature of the planet that we're on.
Johnny, I know that's why you're rock hard. I am putting stuff on there all the time, trying to put about 3 episodes a week. Sometimes if I'm busy, I can't, but you get more bang for your buck than anywhere else. Putting stuff on there. Cash Daddies. If you're looking to make money, go to the patreon.com/Cash Daddies.
Oh, wow.
Oh, we're almost there. We're almost there.
Get in there.
Let's go, guys. Keep it going. Make that money, honey. T-shirts are available. I'm going to be putting up new T-shirts. And then we got all the, look at that T-shirt right there, dude. That's the jam. That is the jam. And then what else do we got? Buy gold and silver. All these guys buy I'm not gonna go into it right now because we've been recording all day, but our premium content is where it's at. Just go down. Our affiliates are where it's at. You got silver and gold. You got Ripe Technology. Buy it while you can. Looks like he's everything must go. Okay. Alcure hydrogen brown gas, Harley Rays, chemical free body. We're going to be putting out supplements. If you want to lose weight, we got a couple people. Prometheus, if you're looking for an off the grid website, decentralized, EMF rocks, tinfoil hats, and of course, Brain Supreme. Anything else, guys?
Hit that like button, subscribe, guys, please. Thank you.
Come hang out on Twitter with me at Johnny Woodard. We're really chopping it up about this the final experiment down. Not to be confused with
Johnny
the final
is so
solution.
rock hard.
Not to be
Johnny is so rock hard about that.
Fighting everybody.
Keep saying the same joke, please.
So rock hard about that. So rock hard about that. I also I'm putting up my Viper Room specials on Twitter as well at Sam Tripoli. Go check it out. I watched it the other day. I would put that up against anyone's podcast.
Sam was so hard. Sam was so hard watching himself. So hard.
I was so hard watching me just cry. I will put my punchlines up against anybody's punchlines in terms of how many punchlines they put out. All right, go enjoy that, guys, and enjoy these highlights.
Here's a clip from the latest Broken Sim.
Very excited.
Timothy.
Tim Dillon.
I dropped her off. I'm excited.
I love you guys. Thank you for coming on. Congratulations on the special.
Thank you so much.
You got the best people working on it. You must be loved. So that's great.
I'm loved by a couple of people. That's it, though.
And I've read some of the comics. I went on Reddit to see how people were.
God.
They all said great things.
No.
10 out of 10.
No, I've seen some bad reviews.
Oh, yeah, but what were the bad reviews? Comedy's mean?
Women are cunts.
So that's a good review.
Fat.
That's a good review.
I don't know. I try to stay off Reddit.
You crushed it on when we did the the comedy Mothership. I had to follow you.
Oh, that was
great.
fun. Yeah.
Yeah, you're a great writer.
Thank you.
So thanks for coming on. We appreciate it. Tim, how are you?
I'm good. I'm doing good.
I love you.
I love you. It's
Tim,
good.
do you remember I was the first, I think the first West Coast podcast to put you
Kill
on?
Tony and you.
Yeah, no,
you were first.
We were in we were in Skankfest.
Yeah, for sure.
I told you about Building 6.
That's
you
right.
did not know about Building 6.
I knew about
what's
Building
Building
7.
6?
You only knew about Building 7. You didn't know about Building 6.
I didn't know about Building 6.
And from there on, you went and crushed it.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it.
I'm a big part of your career.
You are, and so is Building 6. It's you and Building 6 that
You did the
have
ice
made
cream
it.
joke because I loved it?
I did it. You did love it.
You're
you
welcome.
Were, you were
That's
one of
all
the
I gotta
first people
say.
I met.
I love you.
For sure.
I'm so happy for
I
you.
appreciate it. Is it weird if you shot a CEO in the head and it's 5 days later and you managed to evade the cops in New York City? Would you be in a McDonald's in Pennsylvania with a manifesto and a gun on you?
Absolutely. Yeah, why not?
That
Where
seems
are you going to
odd.
go?
Where are you going to go? I mean, you're going to try to not get caught.
How about find a lake and chuck your 3D
Right.
printer gun away?
It's just weird. He's super rich. He disappeared for 4 months. Nobody knew where he was. It's odd to the Syria shit's going wild.
Yeah.
It almost seems like forces are, again, this is just, it's a fun place to have these conversations.
Yeah.
It almost seems like forces are trying to make it very interesting for Trump's first next term.
100%.
Right?
100%.
It's odd. They go, oh, yeah, you're going to enjoy your transition. We're going to have all kinds of shit going on. We're
I
gonna
love
have
that he was in a McDonald's. It's like he's like for the people.
Some of his pictures were him with McDonald's.
Also, an Italian guy, so it's like
It all lines up
Bring
really
Italians
perfectly.
back also.
Maybe it does. Maybe it
Garden's
is.
like,
bring
why,
the Italians.
Yeah.
Bring the Italians back.
Why?
Isn't it? What's your read on it?
Yeah, well, it does have all the.
It's interesting.
All it's like Timothy McVeigh is
Right.
in a car with no license plate
Right.
and all these guns. It's like,
Yeah.
it's like too convenient, right?
We all hate healthcare people. We all know that
We
this
all
is a
do.
depraved and evil system.
We do.
And I'm not saying that I don't know if the way to do it is to shoot people in the head, but what I will say is that it is just an interesting thing to talk about, where this guy was for 4 months.
Where was he?
Where was he? There's all these
What was he
messages.
doing?
People going, hey, you made commitments to my wedding. We haven't been able to get in touch with you. And his brother's a congressman and the family's loaded. And I don't know. It's just very interesting.
But Generation Z is not afraid to assassinate a motherfucker.
That's true.
They're always and he's the first one to actually hit the target.
Yeah. That's
Everybody
right.
else is just like in
Right.
the wind. Congrats. I mean, Generation Z is not afraid.
No, because to them, they've grown up with violence and
Video games.
and they're kind of nihilistic, and they're about it.
They're just not afraid, dude.
They're about it.
And maybe it's helped them too to like hit the target.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
well, the first couple couldn't hit the side of anything,
That's right.
That's true.
right? I mean,
Yeah.
he turns his head and then bang, misses
Well, who's the
that.
other
Maybe
Wait,
he did
who's
it
the
on.
other
Maybe
guy
he
you're
did it
talking
on purpose though.
What?
The golf course is the other guy.
The golf course
Well, that
guy
guy was old though, right?
That
yeah,
guy
but
was
he's
older.
still okay. Yeah, he's not Generation Z, but he is.
The other guy got really close, though.
Yeah,
The
he
Trump guy
close.
got really
Yeah.
close.
All he had to do was he's looking at a pie chart and
He
bang,
got
he's still alive.
He got really, really close.
It's crazy, dude.
And there's no way that wasn't a fucking op. There's zero
Zero chance.
chance.
Zero chance.
Zero chance that was a random thing.
Okay, so you think
The
but
Trump assassination? Yeah.
They always love to say it's Iran, though. Do you buy any of
No,
that?
I think the CIA, if I had to guess, and I hear this from people that are smarter than me, is blaming Iran for things that a dark corner of intelligence is doing.
I completely agree.
They're
Government
saying,
cutouts.
Yeah, they're saying it's Iran. Iran's doing everything. It's always Iran, by the way. Isn't that interesting? It's Iran.
I blame everything on Iran.
Yeah.
Like when I can't
It's
find
just
something,
easier.
I'm like, it's got to be fucking Iran.
Yeah, where's the
Yeah.
remote?
Yeah,
Iran.
fucking Iran.
Iran. Can't find anything at CVS.
That's right.
Iran. By the way, nobody at CVS knows where anything is.
Are you proud of this as an Italian woman that you got?
I'm very proud.
The guy's hot.
I just
he's
found out
educated.
He's got jizz gutters.
He's probably also short, right?
And Italians are
I
not
think he's
usually
tall.
Oh, he's
educated.
a tall Italian. I'm more proud of that. to
and
be
he's
honest.
educated, which is also not super common.
That's not super common either. I'm very proud
Yeah.
of this.
He looks like he's pansexual, too. Like, he's just in. Like
Yeah.
whatever you're
A
down with,
good-looking guy,
he's
yeah.
down.
Yeah.
He's just whatever options are on the table.
Like whatever, if he's straight or gay, like in prison, he's gonna get all.
I think he's
gonna get
bisexual. I think
get
he's good looking enough where sexuality is just an idea.
Yeah, 100%.
I think it's just an idea.
Yeah. Why have boundaries?
No, for sure.
Why have why check boxes? Look at that.
Oh my God.
Come on. Incredible eyebrow.
If you'd like to hear the rest of this episode, subscribe to Broken Simulation in your podcasting app or check us out at youtube.com/SamTripoli.
We go deep, homeboy. Aaron, open your mind. Drink from the fountain of knowledge. There's lizard people everywhere. That's some interdimensional shit. Wake up, Aaron.
This is only the beginning.
Dude, you just blew my mind.
Tinfoil hat, tinfoil hat, tinfoil hat.